Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's album review is on L7's 1992 album, Bricks Are Heavy. This came out when I was 16. Um, I think I probably heard it like most people, I heard that Pretend We're Dead, which was the single on MTV, and I really liked the sound of it and went and bought the CD. Not necessarily my style of music fully at the time, especially, but Um, I do like a fair bit of alternative rock, and this one's leaning into a little bit more punk and even up to heavy metal. Just a unique balance of hard rock, punk, and some metal riffs in there. Um, for four kick-ass girls in this band from my hometown of Los Angeles was just at the time was like super cool. Um, Uh, Butch Vig engineers this album, which makes complete sense. This was their second album. They had an album in 1988, so this is their second album. They ended up having four albums in the 90s, and then broke up for a good 15, almost 20 years, and then now in the last decade they've had another four albums. When I think of the good things about this album, there's a lot of nice heavy riffs, a good balance uh, of of different tempos and different grooves and tempos and stuff like that. It's a good balance of hard rock and a little bit of and punk and then even a little bit of metal. Um, it's kind of a good balance of late 80s heavy sounds and early 90s. Like it's kind of almost I would say this kind of reminds me of like Rage Against the Machine adding a little bit of hip hop. This is like the sort of same sound, like a Los Angeles punk sound, sort of adding a little bit of metal in there, and it could be a little bit of it's more punk, but you know what I mean. It's just kind of like adding a little bit more metal to where Rage Against the Machine would be a little bit more towards hip hop. If I could give it an idea, if I can give you an idea of what it sounds like, that's what it sounds like. Except it doesn't have like the urban beats like Rage. It's not trying to sound hip beats, but as far as like the guitars, the heaviness of it, the rawness of the album, it does remind me a lot of some of Rage Against the Machine. Um, just not the hip hop beats. The lead singer has a really cool voice. Um, really cool rock and roll voice. That's for sure. I can't really think of any opportunities on the album. There is a couple songs. I think the last three songs on the album are okay, but I think the first eight are pretty strong. Wargasm, the second track, the first track. I'm sorry, I gave 2 stars. I think it's a good track. And then it has Scrap, which is one of my favorites. 3.25 stars. Really cool riffs, like the solo. Her voice is really strong on this track. Nice, strong driving track. Yeah, three and a quarter stars. Pretend We're Dead is my favorite on the album. It's kind of their one hit that they had. It's catchy. It's tight. It's kind of a really strong rock and pop and punk blended blended pop song. It's really strong. It's in a way it's almost perfection. I got 3.75 stars. Diet Pill I really like as well. Heavy riffs on this one. Little kind of change pace, kind of slower. 3 stars. Everglades pretty good. 2.25 stars. Slides kick ass. One of my favorite. Also on here. 3.25 stars. One more thing is good too. 2.5 stars. Nice change of pace on here. Mr. Integrity is interesting. 2.5 stars. It's kind of like it's kind of got if you blended surfer rock with punk and metal. It's crazy combination of it. Really unique. It has kind of like the Ventures, surfer rock kind of drum roll. That kind of like a lot of surfer rock is known for. It's a really unique song. Again, the last three tracks they're kind of all okay. I got Monster 1 star, Shit List 1.5 star, This Ain't Pressure 1.25 star. That kind of hurt the album a little bit on the stars for me. But overall, 26.25 stars divided by 11 is a 2.38. I gave it a couple extra points for what it is, especially in the first 8 tracks. I think with songs that are 2-3 minutes, I think I can kind of understand that it's not going to be a heavily deep album that I'm going to get lost in and overanalyze. It's pretty straightforward, and I think I can give it a few extra points and say it's a good album and give it a 60 out of 100. Um, I think it's a good album. It's successful for what it does. I think it's a little ahead of the time. I think it's a good mix of 80s, what was going on at the 80s and bridging into the 90s sound. I think it does a really good job of that. Plus, they're female, which is even cooler because who was rocking out like them in 1992? Not too many. So I think that's really cool. And overall, there's some really good songs on here. So, I think it's a good album. 60 out of 100 for L7's Bricks Are Heavy. All right, thanks for listening.